I was sitting there and some words began to form in my mind and I started to write them down. Can I share it with you? I got another original. Hype Central's first original was more than this. This original, I want to read it. It's actually a poem. Let me get a drink of water. Y'all can talk about me later. I hope it's good things. And I hope y'all praying for Hype Central. For not what we are now, but for what we're going to be. But this is what was given to me. And look, I ain't going to tell nobody I'm a poem writer. That's my daughter's category. She does that. But this is what came. So I just want to share it. And whenever we get our page all together, it'll be online so you can see it. But it goes something like this. Y'all bear with me. I'm sorry. All that hollering, I ain't got excited. But it says, on this journey, bated breath and yearning, biting my tongue, this run so long. Very late the night, praying for twilight. Up over the next hill, anticipation now builds. The main continue in slumber, bliss, maybe wonder, covers across the sky, scry, to begin its formal goodbye. Rays we so seek, the dark no longer bleak. All that was once hidden, now announce, we have been bidden. A sudden, with such beauty, the sun is now risen. I titled it Yesterday No More. I'd like to deconstruct it and tell you the things that were coming to my mind as I wrote the words down. Let me give you an example. The obvious line for me is on this journey, Hype Central, this journey. Whatever journey you're on, and there's a hope for more, better days, abundant seasons, not just the job you're now on, but the job you see afar off. That's another part of this and that. You know, I talked about the negative connections with this and that. But this can refer to what's happening now. What's present now. Not just the negative, but the good. But what about that? I see afar off. I'm thinking about the scriptures where, who was the prophet? He was either Elijah sent his servant. He said, look, he said, tell me what you see off in the distance. He said, I don't see anything right now. I don't see nothing. He sent him 7 times. On the 7th time, he said, I see a cloud about the size of a man's fist. He said, run and tell Ahab, I believe it was. He said, for I hear the sound of abundance. How many got an abundance on the inside? I don't care if all you do right now is shake the fryers inside of the fast food restaurant. I don't care if you're washing cars. I don't care if you're walking down the street just picking up trash. I don't care if your duty is just cutting grass or washing cars. Some of the things I named, I did. My very first job was a busboy in a restaurant, clearing tables. 15 years old. They didn't want to let me work then. And pretty much I've been working since then. They said I was too young. I had to get my mother's permission. I digress. When I asked my mom, could I work at the restaurant, it was only going to be part-time. I'm saying this for somebody's benefit. I got the napkins. Y'all don't talk about me. Saying this for somebody's benefit. I told Mama, I said, Mama, I want to work. Because I wanted to have my own money to catch the buses in Chicago. I wanted to have my own money to buy lunch if I didn't want what was being served at Carver High School. I wanted my own. So he said, we'll pay you, what, $75 just a weekend. Just come in on the weekends. I think it started on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday for sure. And when I told my mom, she said, look, she said, I'm going to let you work. Those that's looking at me now, can I just do this? But she said, I'm like, it's only $75 a week. But she wanted hers off the top. I don't care where you are today. There is a future that's brighter. It says the sun is now risen, brighter than where you are today. I talked about this and that. Some of you on these jobs is always this going on or that going on or this boss or that boss or this customer or that customer. It ain't going to always be that way. Life is more than this, so much more than that. Life is more than this, so much more than that. Life is more than this, so much more than that. Life is so much, so much, so much more. Y'all remember the other video where I talked about if the customers ain't right, getting on your nerve, go in that back room and holler, do whatever you need to do. How about just singing that ditty to yourself? Letting the Spirit of God just deal with you on the inside, bringing a peace. And then you visualize where you want to be. Y'all heard me talking before, walking through the different establishments where I work, looking up at the ceilings, because I said I wanted to identify with this so when I'm on the other side of where I am today, I have something to look back on. But I got here biting my tongue because the run is so long. Remember I said I used to drive trucks. Some of those trips you barely got any sleep because you were sitting in the sleeper berth waiting to be loaded. And then you finally start off, you half tired, sleep. Now you got the hum of the engine of your truck and the sound of the tires against the road. So every now and then I bite my tongue to bring myself back. I pinch the back of my thighs to, just a form of shock to stay awake. So that's what I mean by they're biting my tongue. Even now, I want to say I'm biding time because where we are, Miss Mans, where we are now, this studio, this place, whoa! The activity that's coming, the support that's coming, the collaborations that's coming. Despise not the day of small beginnings. Again, in that truck, very late at night, I thought about when I wrote that line. There were times we used to travel back and forth because Renee's family, T's family, is here in Missouri. So we'd make that trip late at night many times, either from here to there or there to here, on a road that's not very well lit. Certain parts just black out there. And more times than not, here's the next line you talk about. It says the main continuing slumber. What I meant by that is the people, society, people at large, the main, are in slumber. It says, in slumber, bliss, maybe wonder. Life is just passing them by. Life is more than what you see with the naked eye. There's a lot going on in the unseen realm. Good, bad, and indifferent. Life is more than what we see. It's more than this. It's more than that. But I would pray with on the inside, they'd be all snoring and sleep all to themselves, and they don't want the window down. How many drivers out there know what I'm talking about? Roll the window down so you can get some of that air to hit you. They don't want that. So you ride and they don't even want the air conditioner up. So I'm driving along praying for twilight. Even now, better days ahead. Said the covers across the sky. The obvious for me at the time when I wrote it is the clouds themselves. But how many know this? One of the lines I have in the Tenets of Faith, I am that I am, held in high regard. Angels, my ancestors, spirit guides, motivated and aligned for my protection and my covering. Covers across the sky scry to begin its formal goodbye. Rays we so seek, the dark no longer bleak. All that was hidden, I got excited when I got to this part, because I could see a force, an army coming forward. It says, we have been bitten. No, the church people used to say, I feel my help. Y'all can talk about me later. And then a sudden, with such beauty, the sun in all of its glory, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Jesus. I know, look, I was, like I said, I talked about the tarot with the King of Swords and all of that. But I pondered, I took a look. It said that the sun is one of the happiest cards in the deck. I'll let y'all do the research. Y'all look it up. Y'all find out. But the sun for me is hope. The sun for me is peace. The sun for me is not S-U-N, but S-O-N. In the morning, I just thought about Maya Angelou. In the morning I rise. The sun. And lo, I'll be with you always, even unto the end of the world. Let me close. I don't know how much time has been. I'm trying to touch points where everybody are. I talked about this and that, and I know my daughter will probably talk about me later. But one of our daughters, I'm gonna let y'all do the research. One of my daughters one day, when we were living in Chicago, she had been away for a while. She came home. She wasn't quite herself. She was seeing things that we weren't seeing. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about some of the challenges that some of y'all are facing. Some of our children getting involved in things they shouldn't be involved in. But she came home and she was seeing things and saying things that, like, where are you at, girl? I'm going to tell her myself. One night I was down there in the basement walking through. And one of my own started walking through, and then all of a sudden she jumped and looked around. She did it in such a way I jumped too. Like, what? And I'm the daddy. Like, what are you looking at? What do you say? A little of this and a little of that. The challenges some of us are facing. There's a lot out there in the world. Don't let nobody tell you ain't nothing out there. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Back in the day, they used to warn us about the one-eyed demon called the TV. Right now, I go walking my wife's dog outside. I see these people. The dog